following tag team contest is scheduled for one fall. On the way to the ring, representing the Four Horsemen from parts unknown, Lex Luger. And his tag team partner, representing the Four Horsemen from Robbinsdale, Minnesota, Mr. Pathetic. Their opponents first, representing the Four Horsemen from Atlanta, Georgia, Chris Benoit. And his tag team partner, representing the Four Horsemen from Tampa, Florida, Malenko.
Here we have all four horsemen together in one match, showing us a feat of excellence between all four of them. Going to see very technical wrestling, I assure you, in this match. Lots of great suplexes from the likes of Lex Luger, as we see right here. Chris Benoit, one of the masters of the suplex. Dean Malenko, master of 1,000 holds. Lex Luger, the master of the torture rack. I apologize. Now, all four of these men did quite well in the Rumble last week. And I'll get back to that in a moment, as we have Lex Luger and both members of the opposite team on the outside here for a moment. Our legal men are Lex Luger and Chris Benoit here. The crippler Chris Benoit going to try and hurt his own stable member, Lex Luger here, smashing the back of Lex Luger. Now, Benoit and Malenko were able to win their first tag team tournament match, but eventually lost to the NWO in the finals match. Now, if Dean Malenko and Benoit can win this match, they might end up with a title shot against that NWO quite quickly. But if Lex Luger and Mr. Perfect win this match, they might have to prove themselves a little bit more before getting that title shot. Dean Malenko whipping Lex Luger into his own corner. Not usually the corner you want to tag them in. Fortunately, Mr. Perfect dropped down and dropped away from Luger, as Luger now gets whipped into the enemy corner. And we might see a tag team maneuver coming in from Malenko and Benoit, whipping Luger across the ring, and a double flapjack, slamming Lex Luger into the bottom of the mat. The referee has been getting in the way quite a bit so far. Now Mr. Perfect, who you have not seen this match as of yet, entered number 2 in the Rumble last week. He was able to make a decent show of it by eliminating Randy Savage, who drew number 1. You'll be seeing Randy Savage later tonight in tag team action. But Mr. Perfect was then eliminated by Eddie Guerrero not soon after he eliminated Randy Savage. We have Dean Malenko, who actually was eliminated by Lex Luger. But he was able to eliminate Buff Bagwell, one of the eventual tag team members that beat him for the tag team title. Now, as I said earlier, Lex Luger did eliminate Dean Malenko from the Royal Rumble, but he was eliminated by Hulk Hogan, who you will be seeing in championship action here tonight against Kevin Nash, the winner of that Royal Rumble last week. A huge suplex by Lex Luger, almost tossing Chris Benoit into the turnbuckle. Benoit trying to stop that tag by Mr. Perfect, trying to get Mr. Perfect into the ring. Surprised that this is not a rope break. They're very close to the ropes. Got a technical feat of Benoit to pull him just far enough away as Perfect stops that submission maneuver. Big punch to the face by Luger, putting all of his weight behind that punch, dropping all of his body weight. And now we have Mr. Perfect finally in this match, as we get Dean Malenko now in the match. Curt Hennig, Mr. Perfect, has been a great wrestler for many, many years. Has started a few Royal Rumbles in the number 1 spot. Has not had too much luck with Rumbles, but he's going to get another suplex for his efforts. Now, Chris Benoit, the only person I haven't mentioned about their Rumble performance, did extremely well in his Royal Rumble. He was able to eliminate 3 people from that match. Raven, who we saw earlier against Scott Hall. Eddie Guerrero, the person who eliminated Mr. Perfect earlier in the match, and Chris Jericho. All in one match, all in one Rumble, he eliminated those 3 people before being eliminated by Bret Hart, who we'll be seeing in the next match against Paul Wright in Extreme Rules. Now, the Extreme Rules match is a qualification match in which the winner will go on to a 6-man tables, ladders, and chairs match for the hardcore title, as we see a huge bulldog coming in from Dean Malenko to slam the face of another smashing of the face of Mr. Perfect into the mat, as Mr. Perfect tried to get a huge kick onto the face of Dean Malenko. Dean Malenko was able to duck that, and now he's in no man's land. He's got both of his opponents on him on the outside. Now, normally the Four Horsemen try to fight with a lot of honor, but Curt Hennig is a bit more lax with those ideals. He's willing to fight on the outside like this. As you see Lex Luger getting tossed into the ring now. 3 members of this match in the ring when only 2 should be. Dean Malenko and Curt Hennig, the current legal men of this match. As you see some stomping coming in. Getting tripped up and caught by Dean Malenko. Going to look for a half Boston Crab here. Put some damage on the back of Curt Hennig here. Getting kicked away. Now Curt Hennig, went more by Curt Hennig in WCW, was mainly known as Mr. Perfect in the WWF. Dean Malenko has always been Dean Malenko. That's his name. So he doesn't have as many nicknames besides the Master of 1,000 Holds, as you see on the back of his trunks. As he gets whipped into the enemy corner here, he's able to counter out of that corner, but doesn't quite capitalize on that stun. As we see Curt Hennig now get the upper hand, but a series of counters between these two great technical wrestlers. Great technical expertise we're seeing here in this match. As you see a hip toss for Curt Hennig, as he tries to pick up Dean Malenko, but Dean Malenko able to counter into a lift, smashing the upper back and head of Curt Hennig into the mat. A huge stiff punch by Dean Malenko to get Curt Hennig close to his corner is not enough, as Curt Hennig gets a good move, hurting the neck of Dean Malenko. Dean Malenko now going to get whipped around the ring by Curt Hennig. Huge flapjack by Curt Hennig. Curt Hennig now rolling out to the outside, trying to strip this table. Like I said, once again, he's a bit more of a rabble-rouser than the other members of the Four Horsemen. Oh my God, he just tackled Chris Benoit into the announce table. All the way from the outside. He doesn't care that they're his stable mates. He's gonna do whatever he can to get ahead in this business right now. And winning this match will do a lot. We've been seeing Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko go for tag team maneuvers here. The ref is now going to be counting out Dean Malenko and Curt Hennig actually taking out the referee. This is amazing by Curt Hennig, that he's going so hard against his tag team members. It's like he's got something wrong with them, like he's hating on them. Lex Luger just sort of standing idly by as Curt Hennig now gets whipped into his tag team's corner. Lex Luger could have helped him there, but decided to drop down on the rope. Chris Benoit with a huge counter, countering that body press into a fallaway slam with a huge amount of strength from Chris Benoit. Now turning around, Curt Hennig into a crippler crossface, trying to wrench the arm. No, that's not a crossface, but able to hurt Curt Hennig, stretch the back and the arms. As we get Hennig now with control over Benoit, with a nice lift there. Technical wrestling coming in from most of these wrestlers as he whips Benoit outside of the ring. Will he try and put Benoit through this table that he's already prepared here? A huge elbow, discus elbow from Benoit. Now going to whip Hennig strongly into the ring as Benoit takes a moment to rest on the outside. Dean Malenko also on the outside, playing to the crowd a little bit. Benoit getting a half boxing clap on the outside of the ring. Nowhere for Hennig to go. He can't climb to any ropes. There's no ropes for him to go to, but he's able to counter out of that, turning around, kicking Chris Benoit away. And now Dean Malenko has been letting these two fight it out, just wishing to see some technical wrestling between these two, but it looked like Hennig was preparing to put Benoit through the table here. Now Hennig dropping down to the outside once again, and now Benoit also on the outside. Benoit not letting Hennig go to the outside. This very technical match has actually been on the outside for quite a bit now, as Benoit now brings it back into the ring. And is calling for a big move now, as Malenko goes and tackles out Lex Luger as he goes for the crippler crossface. Mr. Perfect only has to go for a little bit to the rope break. Dean Malenko has been attacking Luger on the outside now, but Benoit fighting for a small package now. 1, 2, counter by Perfect. 1, 2, counter to Benoit pinning. 2, 3, and kick out by Curt Hennig, as I was not sure who would. It would take me a minute to even figure out who would be winner there if that count happened. They keep countering back and forth. Sometimes those small packages, it's hard to figure out who who's actually on the bottom. It only takes a small pill, and here he goes again for another small package. 1, 2, and Curt Hennig countering again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. No. 1, 2, 3. No. 1, 2, 3. No. Curt Hennig kicking out again as the two members of the teams just sort of standing out by the ball of pin that was in the middle of that ring. So much energy must have been expended constantly countering those pins between the two of them. And now Dean Malenko in the middle of the ring. Fresh man against Curt Hennig, who has been in this ring for a while now. Quite a long time now, actually, now that I think about it. Now, if Dean Malenko could, oh my god, a huge enziguri from Curt Hennig, able to kick the back of the head of Dean Malenko, but Dean Malenko now going for a big suplex, stalling. Almost a vertical brainbuster there. Now pulling Curt Hennig towards the middle of the ring, but Curt Hennig getting up before Dean Malenko is able to go for a pin. Now, tilt-a-whirl backbreaker by Dean Malenko onto Curt Hennig, trying to damage that back. They're able to weaken it for the cloverleaf, but it goes for a pin now. 1 count, only a 1 count. Curt Hennig actually able to kick out of that pin, and now the pace slowing down a little bit, and now going for another pin. 1, only another 1 count, making him use that core body strength to kick out of that. Curt Hennig is gonna have to, he has to go tag in Lex Luger. Why hasn't he tagged in Luger yet? And here he goes, a big tag from Luger, and he's gonna big huge punch and a discus elbow to Benoit, knocking him out on the outside. And will we see the torture rack? Yes, we will. We see a huge torture rack coming in from Lex Luger, but Benoit able to stop that movement as both members of the teams in the ring. We had all 4 members of this match in the ring at once, so we see a huge suplex from Luger coming in. Now the odds of this match ending in a submission are fairly high, as 3 of the 4 members of this match have submission finishers, but we've seen a lot of pin counts so far as well. That could be the end of this match, but only a 1 count onto Dean Malenko as he was able to kick out. Lex Luger now tying up with Dean Malenko once again, very close to the opposing corner, but Dean Malenko able to get the upper hand, and a huge scoop slam by Lex Luger, slamming Dean Malenko into the mat, and a body press, now going for a pin, but Malenko kicking out. I believe the referee took a little bit of time realizing that was actually a pin by Luger and not just a straight body press. Chop block by Malenko, and now Benoit gets a hot tag into the ring. Clotheslines Luger, and a huge elbow to Curt Hennig. Small package by Luger here, trying to steal it. 1, 2, 3. No, kick out by Benoit as he has both members of the enemy match in the ring. Curt Hennig has got to get out of there. Huge suplex by Luger, smashing the back, the back that has been injured many times by Benoit into that mat. Now will we see a huge headbutt come in from Benoit, or will he only be going for the crossface here? Will he be trying to make his technical peers submit in this match? Even though this has been a very technical match, there's been a lot of small package attempts and quick pins trying to get the win here in this match. Some cheap maneuvers from Curt Hennig as well, going to the outside many times. As we see Chris Benoit with a huge missile dropkick off the top rope. An excellent move by him. And now he's thinking about his next move, trying to calculate what to do next against Lex Luger. And we got a huge suplex, spinning the hips, lifting him up against one more. That's number 2. And he's spinning the hips once again. And another. All 3. 3 suplexes by Benoit. Now going for the pin here. 1. Only 1 count. Not quite able to finish the match as of yet. Luger now with a big suplex of his own, tossing Benoit against the match. Another body pin going here. Once again, The ref taking a little bit of time, and Benoit able to kick out before 1 count. Benoit now has the back of Benoit, and he tosses Benoit to the mat once more. Luger, more of a strength wrestler, was former bodybuilder into a great suplexing machine. Benoit able to counter out of that maneuver, but getting a big elbow to the face there. Another pin now in his side of the ring. Only a 1 count, but still trying to use that core body strength of Benoit, trying to weaken it for the torture rack like now. Right now, Curt Hennig trying to keep Malenko off of interrupting that maneuver, but Malenko was able to make Lex Luger drop Benoit before too much damage. The referee yelling at Curt Hennig to get out of the ring as they get a tag team maneuver coming in. There's a big suplex and a tag team suplex coming in from Hennig and Luger. Benoit now looking to tag in Malenko as he's taken a lot of damage as he's been in the ring. All 4 of these men must be really tired now. Lex Luger dropping off to the outside as we get both men tying up together. These technical wrestlers putting on a fantastic show here tonight. Dean Malenko getting whipped into his tag team corner. And now they'll see Curt Hennig wait a bit, get countered into the corner, and now a tag team maneuver by Malenko and Benoit punching the gut of Curt Hennig. An absolutely perfect showing as we see a crippler crossface onto Curt Hennig as Malenko zoning out Lex Luger, stopping him from getting close, but Hennig able to counter out of the crippler crossface. Malenko at the bottom of this map. He's got to get out or else the ref won't count for any sort of pin. He goes for 1, 2, 3. Benoit and Malenko take it in this fabulous match.